John Eichelsheim for Boating New Zealand magazine, and the subject for today's review is the new Greenline 48 Flybridge Cruiser. Now this is a diesel-only vessel. It's got 380 horsepower Cummins diesels inside it, 2 of them. This gives it a top speed of around 25 knots, but it's perfectly happy cruising at anywhere from 16 to 20 knots. That said, it's equally happy at 8 knots. It really depends on how you want to travel. It's got what they call a super displacement hull. It's very long waterline length, which gives this boat so much volume inside. It feels a much bigger boat than it actually is, and the first time that you see it, it's hard to believe that the vessel is only 15 metres long. One of the advantages of this hull form is that you get a very flat fuel burn, which means that in litres per mile, the burn is almost exactly the same whether you're doing 8 knots or 20 knots. So a really nice feature of this boat is this aft galley area. Nicely laid out. It's quite an easy one to work around. I do like the way this little servery bench pops down. It folds up out of the way when you want to close the window down. It's full-size fridge, freezer underneath, quite a bit of storage, a very workable sort of galley area. So the cockpit's an obvious place to entertain and to eat, and most of the time I think during the summer this is where people will spend their time. Very, very pleasant, but it's actually one of several areas aboard this boat where you can entertain or enjoy, and that includes upstairs as well on the Flybridge, where there is another eating area, and that of course is where the barbecue is as well. This is the swim step. It's extra wide. They like to use it when they're fishing, when they're swimming. Ladder that comes in off the starboard side, and of course it's easy enough to get the inflatable dinghy up here. Richard, I understand, actually transports the dinghy and puts it right on top on the sun deck on the Flybridge. It's that light. So this saloon area feels really, really spacious, and a lot of that is to do with these really, really deep waisted windows which give you fantastic vision whether you're sitting down or standing up. But as I am now, I can see right around the boat, and it's just fantastic. So this helm area, there's actually plenty of room for multifunction displays. There's a reasonably small one in this particular boat, but there's heaps and heaps of room here on the dashboard and on the console. The layout works well, nice, all the switches in a row. The throttle falls to hand very nicely. I particularly like the side door here. When you're tying up, you can just whiz outside. Very, very easy. It makes the boat easy to handle even when you're short-handed. So this is a 3-cabin layout. We've got 2 identical guest cabins, twin singles. But the nice thing about them is that there's an infill. You can actually turn them into quite a big double bed if you want. Very roomy, and the beauty about it is, and quite unusual, is the fact that every cabin has its own toilet. This one in fact is a semi-ensuite, it's also the day head, but the other identical guest cabin has its own private bathroom. So the master cabin in the bows, again very spacious. Really there's a lot of room around the island bed here. Good sized bed, bit of storage underneath, storage around in the shelves, and I like the way that the windows are sort of at eye level when you're standing. They let in plenty of light, but when you're lying in the bed, you're still going to feel quite private. Got a couple of opening ports as well, and of course this boat is air conditioned and heated, so good for summer and winter boating. A nice little TV screen up on the wall, and again something that sort of sets this boat apart from many others is the fact that it has a separate toilet, and then on the other side it has its own separate shower. So quite unusual. So I've got a pretty large area up here on the foredeck, and most of it is taken up by this huge sunbed area. Really quite comfortable. It's got a backrest that comes up, so it's really good to lean against. It takes up the whole area, but really this is quite a useful feature on a warm summer's day in a bay somewhere if you just want to relax. It also has a nice little shade, a little bimini top that comes up, so you can even get yourself out of the sun if you're enjoying the summer's day. So the Greenlines, because so many of the models are actually hybrids, this one of course is not, it's a diesel version, but so many are hybrids, and the owners of this particular boat, the importers, have opted for a lot of the hybrid features, which includes these solar panels. They've got a lot of solar capacity here. Now some of the boats of course have even more solar panels. They'll have them right across the roof if they're a hardtop. But this allows Richard and Susie to use this boat with virtually no need for shore power while they're away, and they hardly ever have to run the genset either. So that's the Greenline 48. It's an interesting vessel. It's the first of this particular model to come to New Zealand. It's also one of the bigger boats in the Greenline range that hybrid boats New Zealand have imported. This retails for round about the 1.6 million mark here in New Zealand. Given how much volume there is in the boat and how versatile its entertaining and recreational areas are, is pretty good value. John Eichelsheim from Boating New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel.